Irish traditional music is very, very important to us. When we first tried to come up with a unique sound, it was one of the influences that we brought into the melting pot. And that was, we'd been fed on rock and pop and a lot of middle of the road type music and traditional Irish music, of course, coming from where we come from.
It was something that we got under our skin from working in the pubs, and the music is hypnotic, it's fantastic. And then the instruments that we play, Sean played classical violin, and then Colin learned the baron because she loved it, and I learned the tin whistle because I wanted to learn the flute that the guy was playing in the pub. And this is all way back. So then when we started to write songs, it naturally got incorporated in there.
We wouldn't pretend to be the best traditional Irish players out there. We're certainly not. But what we do is we've made a marriage of traditional Irish music, rock and pop, and that is our sound, and that's what we love playing. And I can't see us ever letting go of that.
It's only right that you should play the way you feel it. But listen carefully to the sound of your loneliness, like a heartbeat drives a man.
It defines our country. Our traditional music defines our country. It's about optimism. It's about past oppression and then stretching forward and reaching for optimism throughout. It's about, the traditional music is about emigration. It's about coming to America. It's about missing home. It's about famine. It's about, it really encapsulates our history and how we are as people. So as people, it's very, very important.
I mean, it's something that we all have to go through at some stage or another, is the death of a parent. And it's never what you think it's going to be like. It's a pretty devastating experience. Some mother developed this lung disease, and she had a very dramatic decline. We kind of were a little bit prepared for it. We had these 6 months prior to this, we had got knowledge of it. But you're never really fully prepared, to be honest. But after she died, and on our birthday, Caroline and Andrea got together and wrote a song, and the song was called No More Cry.
We'd gone into the studio and we were kind of in and out all the time, working and touring at the same time. And then we got the news that Mum was a lot more ill than we had thought, and ended up leaving the studio right in the middle of what we were doing and going over to see her. And she passed away quite fast after that. And I think with the record, she would have wanted us to keep working and to go back into it as fast as possible. So we did do that.
I mean, if somebody had told me I'd be able to write a song so close to what's happening and so sore, I would have, I wouldn't have thought I could, but it came and flowed. And the song is quite ironic because it's a rebellion against the pain. It's like, no more.
I wanna feel just like before the rain came in my door, shook me up, turned me round, and made me cry till I would drown.
And it was amazing. The lyrics just started coming out of her mouth as she was sitting there, and it was just purely what she was feeling at the time.
It's a song of two sides. One side where the words are they're quite sad, but yet the tempo and the melody of the song is very forceful and uplifting and stretching for the future. And I think that very accurately describes what we felt, because you feel and we felt that we needed to go on. To me, it accurately describes grief. Whereas, a tragic, love song, grief-stricken love song, to me is very obvious. and it's what people would expect. But I think a more accurate way of describing grief is the struggle to try and break free from grief, the frustration with it, and also the want to help the people around you. And that's what No More Cry is about. Oh God, there's a million things that stick out about your culture. It's your language, the way you speak American rather than English, you know, the way you spell things, like colour as in C-O-L-O-R rather than C-O-L-O-U-R, the way we spell it.
You stand in queues, you take that. You don't mind that you have to line up an awful lot. And you do it for fun parks, for like roller coasters and stuff. That blows my mind.
Food, the size of your sandwiches are just unbelievable, like Reuben's, you know.
You don't have much of a pub culture. You have like TVs on in places, and that's kind of, there's always like football or something on the TV and stuff like that.
I think musically as well, it can be quite different. I think the only thing that links musically the rest of the world and America is like the boy band and girl band thing, or like the divas, you know. But apart from that, very often what happens out here won't happen in Europe, and vice versa. Like let's say, like Hootie and the Blowfish. You know, they didn't really make much of an impact in Europe, yet they're absolutely massive in the States. And that is a cultural divide. That is a difference.
Oh, it really doesn't matter, really doesn't matter at all. 'Cause we are so young now, we are so young now.
It's the last place to come in for us. Everywhere else has come in. And we see absolutely no reason why we shouldn't have it here. Because, you know, people aren't that different in the United States. People are the same all over the world, you know, and that is true. So there is no reason why they wouldn't enjoy our music as much as, let's say, a British person or a French person. There's just no reason why. It's just exposure, and it's just timing. You know, it's about fashions. I mean, I think one of the reasons it hasn't happened here so far is not from want of trying, but, you know, when we first came out, you know, Nirvana and grunge was in fashion, and we're not in that. We just don't sound like that. More recently, it's kind of been, you know, boy band and girl band phenomenon. And people sometimes would look at us and think that, and then they realize we're not, and they don't know where to fit us because we write and play our own music. So sometimes it's tricky to place an act, and we have been tricky. I call the States the final frontier, you know, and I think it will work. There's no reason why it shouldn't.
Come on, you think when you